Have you ever felt like you are waiting for a door to open, but you are the one holding the key in your pocket the whole time? Have you ever felt that the biggest obstacle in your path is not the world, but the person you see in the mirror every morning? My name is Elena. For a long time, I believed that my life was limited by my circumstances. I believed that I was stuck because of my job, because of my bank account, or because of the city where I lived. I spent years pointing my finger at the world, saying, I would be happy if only things were different. But the truth was much quieter and much more uncomfortable. The truth was that the only person holding me back was me. I lived in a small, tidy apartment. Every morning, the sun would hit the same spot on my kitchen floor at exactly 7:30. I would drink my tea, look at that spot of light, and feel a heavy weight in my chest. I worked as a translator for a legal firm. It was a good job. It was a safe job. I spent my days turning complex, cold legal words from one language into another. It was precise, it was logical, but it was not alive. Inside me, there was a different kind of language. Since I was a young girl, I loved poetry. I loved the way words could paint a picture of a feeling that has no name. I wanted to write. I wanted to create stories that made people feel less alone. But every time I picked up a pen to write for myself, a voice in my head would stop me. It was a cold, sharp voice. It would say, "Who do you think you are, Elena? You are a translator. You are practical. Writing is for people with more talent, more time, and more courage than you." So, I would put the pen down. I would go back to my legal documents. I would tell myself that I was being mature. I told myself that dreaming was for children. But the dream didn't die. It just sat there, in the corner of my mind, getting dusty and sad. Have you ever had a dream like that? A dream that you try to ignore, but it follows you like a shadow? As the years passed, my life became a comfortable cage. I knew the rhythm of every day. I knew the faces of the people on the bus. I knew the taste of the sandwich I bought every Tuesday. It was safe, but safety can be a very dangerous thing. When you are too safe, you stop growing. When you stop growing, you start to feel like you are fading away. I started to notice that I was angry. I was angry at my boss for giving me more work. I was angry at my friends for being successful. I was angry at the weather for being too gray. But one rainy evening, while I was sitting at my desk, I realized something. I wasn't angry at them. I was angry at myself for being too afraid to try. I was using my job and my busy life as an excuse. I was hiding behind my responsibilities so I wouldn't have to face the possibility of failure. I thought about the word failure a lot. Why are we so afraid of it? If I tried to write and it was bad, what would happen? The world would not end. The sun would still rise. But in my mind, failure felt like a giant wall. I realized that I had built that wall myself, brick by brick, with every "I can't" and every "not today." One Saturday, I went to a small bookstore. I saw a woman there, much older than me, sitting in the corner with a notebook. She was writing with such focus and such joy. I watched her for a long time. She looked free. I realized then that freedom isn't something that happens to you. Freedom is a choice you make. I went home and sat at my kitchen table. I opened a blank notebook. My heart was beating fast. My hands were shaking. It felt like I was standing on the edge of a high cliff. The voice in my head started shouting, "Stop! This is a waste of time. You have nothing to say." I took a deep breath. I whispered to the voice, "I hear you. Thank you for trying to protect me. But I am going to write anyway." I wrote one sentence. It was a simple sentence about the light on my kitchen floor. Then I wrote another, and another. They weren't perfect. They weren't brilliant. But they were mine. For the first time in 10 years, I felt like I was breathing real air. The next few months were not easy. The habit of holding myself back was very strong. Some days, I would sit for an hour and write nothing. The old fear would come back, telling me that I was being foolish. It told me that I was too old to start a new path. It told me that I would never be good enough. But I began to see a pattern. The fear only showed up when I was doing something important. The fear was actually a sign that I was moving in the right direction. It was like a guard at the gate of my potential. If I wanted to get to the other side, I had to walk past the guard. I realized that I had been waiting for a sign from the universe to tell me it was okay to change. I was waiting for someone to come and tell me, "Elena, you are ready now." But no one was coming. No one can give you permission to live your own life. You have to give it to yourself. I think about time a lot now. We often act like we have forever. We say, "I'll do it when I have more money," or "I'll do it when the kids are older," or "I'll do it next year." But time is a river. It only flows one way. Every day we spend holding ourselves back is a day we will never get back. What are you waiting for? Are you waiting for the fear to disappear? It won't. Are you waiting for the perfect moment? It doesn't exist. The only moment you truly have is this one, right now. I started sharing my writing on a small blog. At first, I was terrified that someone would read it and judge me. And some people did. Some people didn't like it, but some people did. Some people wrote to me and said, "I felt the same way. I realized that by being brave enough to show my true self, I was helping others feel brave too." The wall I had built around myself started to crumble. It didn't happen all at once. It happened one brick at a time. One day of writing. One day of saying yes to an opportunity. One day of being kind to myself when I made a mistake. I am still a translator. I still have bills to pay. But I am no longer a prisoner of my own fear. I have started to take classes in creative writing. I have met people who inspire me. My life is not perfect, but it is honest. And honesty is much better than comfort. I learned that the invisible chains we feel are often made of our own thoughts. We tell ourselves stories about who we are and what we can do. We say, "I am not the kind of person who starts a business," or "I am too shy to speak up." These are just stories. And because we are the authors of these stories, we have the power to rewrite them. If you feel stuck today, I want you to look at your life very closely. Look at the things you say you can't do. Ask yourself, is it really true that I can't? Or am I just afraid of what might happen if I try? The world can be a difficult place. There are many things we cannot control. We cannot control the economy, the weather, or the opinions of other people. But we can control how we show up for ourselves. We can control whether we listen to our fear or our hope. It takes a lot of energy to hold yourself back. It is exhausting to constantly push down your own desires. When you finally stop fighting yourself, all that energy becomes available for your growth. You will be surprised at how much strength you actually have. You do not need to change your whole life in one day. You just need to stop being your own enemy. Start by being your own friend. If a friend told you they had a dream, would you tell them they were too old, too untalented, or too late? No. You would encourage them. You would tell them to try. Try giving that same kindness to yourself. The door is not locked, my friend. It never was. You are standing in front of it, and the key is in your hand. All you have to do is turn it and walk through. The air on the other side is beautiful. I still have a long way to go on my journey. There are still many things I want to learn, and many stories I want to tell, but I am no longer waiting. I am walking. And that is the most important thing. Confidence is not something you are born with. It is something you build by doing the things that scare you. Every time you face your fear, you get a little bit stronger. Every time you choose yourself over your excuses, you become more real. The only person holding you back is you. And that is actually the best news in the world. Because if you are the one holding yourself back, it means you are also the one who can let yourself go. You have the power. You always did. As you finish listening to this story, take a moment of silence. Listen to the quiet voice inside you. What is it asking for? What is that one small thing you could do today to move toward your true self? It doesn't have to be a big thing. It just has to be a real thing. Trust yourself. You are more capable than you know. You are more resilient than you feel. And you are worthy of a life that feels like yours. Life is not a rehearsal. This is the real thing. Don't spend it waiting for a version of yourself that doesn't feel afraid. Be the version of yourself that is afraid, but does it anyway. If this story touched you, take a moment to reflect or share your thoughts below. We would love to hear about the invisible chains you are breaking today. Subscribe to Inner Voice English for more calm English stories. May you find the courage to be exactly who you are. Thank you for being here with me today. Stay peaceful, stay brave.